Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City, and applicants and members of the public. Today is February 25th, 2021, and this is the meeting of the Baltimore City BLLC. This is a virtual hearing. It is hosted on the WebEx platform, and all materials, evidence, and related items for today's dockets are located on the PowerPoint that you see on your screen. WebEx is the online meeting platform that we use. For basics, to use the WebEx system, you should have access to a laptop, iPad, smartphone, or similar device with microphone capabilities. To participate, please click the link. We have suggested that if you use the panelist platform, you have tested this already. All materials, evidence, and related items for today's docket can be found under the BLLC's website under the hyperlinks for February 25th, 2021. The board has a 48-hour rule for evidence for these online hearings, which means that all evidence has to be considered today must have been submitted by 11 a.m. Tuesday, February 23rd. Any amendments to application made by applicants or their council representatives will not be accepted after February 11th for cases to be heard today. In addition to the posting of today's docket online, every applicant and licensee was mailed a letter instructing them of their date and time for today's hearing. Procedures for today's document. Preliminary reading of the instructions. I, the Deputy Executive Secretary, are reading the instructions and the ground rules for this process. I will be calling each case in the order as listed in the short docket. I will ask for the applicant and his or her counsel to identify themselves and any and all additional supporting witnesses so that they can be sworn in by our court reporter. The board has an opportunity to ask the applicant and his or her witnesses and representatives to present to them today. They may ask questions of the attorney or the applicant, as the case may be. Upon the conclusion of the case, the chairman will ask individuals if they would like to testify in support or opposition to the application. If you are a member of the general public and on here and you would like to testify when the commissioner calls, please use the raise your hand feature and you will be recognized by me, and then I will move you into the panel so that you can identify yourselves and be sworn in and then testify in front of the board. Anyone who testifies is subject to questioning by the board and cross-examination by the attorney and or the applicant. And remember, if you only have a phone, you will not have the opportunity to testify because you must be sworn in. After all testimony and evidence is presented, the board will vote on the application before them, and then the Assistant Executive Secretary will read the exhibits into the record. Please reminder, the board is not authorized to discuss any non-case related matters. So as the board is sitting in its quasi-judicial capacity, they are only authorized to hear testimony and evidence related to the cases before it and not discuss any other matters as it relates to the virtual hearing. The general ground rules. Please mute yourself when you are not speaking to minimize feedback. Please identify yourself and state the spelling of your name before you speak for the court reporter. Please speak slowly and in a clear voice so that the court reporter understands exactly what is being said and who is saying it. Please note that this event is running live on Charm TV and a court reporter is present. Any individual who uses profanity, is disrespectful, or unruly may be expelled from today's hearing. All attendees, applicants, licensees, and members who wish to provide testimony must be sworn in. No physical evidence will be taken at these proceedings, and absolutely no amendments to the application may be made during this hearing. Again, we have some helpful reminders for this virtual WebEx. Please be prepared, read your materials ahead of time and have tested everything. Please try and find yourself a quiet space with good light and strong internet connection so that you can be seen and heard clearly. Be present when we call your case. Please don't be multitasking and be paying attention to the board. Please be patient with yourself and with others as we all navigate our virtual world due to the pandemic. With that, the short docket is on the screen, and there are 10 items being heard at today's hearing. They're listed, and the first case is Amy Marie Thomas, Young Ju Kim, Hwa Sik Koo. And Mr. Chairman, if you are prepared, I will be happy to call the case and impanel those people.
Just two brief preliminaries. First of all, on behalf of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners, the administration, and staff, we want to welcome Ms. Bundy, who's joined us this year as our new Deputy Executive Secretary. You've just heard him, and you heard him probably at the last couple of hearings. And if I hadn't formally announced that prior to this date, I wanted to do that today. Welcome and wish him the best in this role. He's done a great job so far. I have no reason to believe he won't continue to. And I'm going to ask Nick to please mute people who are not on each case so that we don't get all the feedback, okay? And then we'll proceed. Thank you.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Will do. The first case on today's docket, applicants are Amy Marie Thomas, Young Ju Kim, and Hwa Sik Koo, 1230 Light Street, Liquors LLC, trading as Old Federal Hill Liquors. And they are a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license holder. And if the board will give me a minute, I will move those folks into the panel.
Are they represented?
They are not represented to my knowledge, but we will ask the applicants if they do have counsel. Ms. Thomas and I believe Ms. Chang, you have the other individuals in your room with you?
That's correct.
And you do not have counsel for this case? You're representing yourselves?
That's correct.
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman.
Let's swear we're going to testify.
Everybody, can you hear me, please?
Yes, is that Ms. Thomas?
Yeah, everybody, if you can turn your video camera on so that you can be sworn in by our court reporter, please.
이거를
Okay, I see Miss Thomas. I'm just waiting on Miss Chang.
Yes, I'm trying to turn a video. Yeah.
Yeah, there should be a button there. No worries. It's a confusing time.
Very confusing. Sorry. No devices. Do I have to enter some code to enter a video address?
No, there should be a button at the bottom of your screen that says Start Video.
Okay.
And if you push it, it should work.
잠깐.
Why don't we swear Ms. Thomas to get started, okay?
Okay. Miss Thomas, would you be able to raise your right hand? Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then Miss Chang, who is there with you?
Yes. I'm with Mr. Youngju Kim and Mr. Hwa Sik Koo, the applicant 2 and 3.
Okay, great. Thank you. Do you want me to swear them in without video?
Oh, yes. Now.
Mr. Chair?
There we go. I think.
Oh, good work.
Okay. All right. Would you be able to raise your right hands, please?
Me?
All of-
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
all of
everybody.
you?
Anyone
Let's
who's
do
going
it,
to testify
everybody.
has to
Okay, thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury? And then please state your name before your response.
Chrissy Cheng, yes, please let me interpret to those gentlemen, please. 우리가 진실만을 얘기할 거를 저기 선서합니까? 말씀하시기 전에 성함 대고 yes라고 하시면 돼요.
Yeah, I'm a Youngju Kim. Yes.
Yeah, I'm Hwashik Yu. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so Ms. Chang, you are the interpreter?
That's correct.
Okay. Who's going to speak on behalf of this transfer application?
Mr. Youngju Kim, applicant 2, and please let me interpret.
Okay.
지금 이렇게 말씀을 하세요. 한국말로 말씀을 하세요.
네.
우리는 저기 이 트랜스퍼 애플리케이션을 가게 운영을 하기 위해서 저기 하고
네.
트랜스퍼를 요청합니다. 네. 말씀하세요.
네, 저희는 이 가게를 운영하기 위해서 트랜스퍼 라이센스를 요청합니다.
The applicant 1, 2, 3 would like to request for the review and approval of the transfer application.
He wants to postpone it? Is that what you said?
No, approve.
Approve.
Review
Oh,
and approved, yes, please.
all right. Can you tell us something about what you're going to do here?
여기서 지금 뭘 할 건지 설명을 하세요. 그런데요, 히어링에 불러가지고 우리가 참가를 했다 그렇게 말씀하시죠.
여기 히어링에 불러서 지금 참가했습니다.
They were called on the hearing, and that they would like to best to join the hearing.
But tell me this. Are they operating the liquor store now?
That 지금 현재 리커 스토어를 운영하고 있습니까?
안 하고
그렇다고 말하고 해야죠.
예.
예.
네.
Yes.
And when did they begin?
언제 세르먼트를 했죠?
12월 17일.
December 17, 2020.
Okay. And who is handling the alcohol in the store?
예, 누가 알코올을 이렇게 핸들을 하고 있습니까? 두 분 중에 한 분이어야 되겠죠?
예, 제가 하고 있습니다.
Yeah, Mr. Kim, applicant 2, is handling all the alcoholic beverage matter in the store.
And has he been tip certified?
지금 alcohol awareness certified 됐습니까?
네라고 했죠.
예, 지금 우리
네.
certificate. Yes, he said yes.
And is he aware of all the rules and regulations of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners?
예, rules and regulation 다 읽어봤습니까?
네.
Yes.
Okay. And is anyone else going to be working with him?
지금 다른 사람 또 일하고 있습니까?
네.
예.
네.
Yes, Mr. Hwashik Yu is working with him together.
And will he also be certified?
지금 certified 됐습니까? alcohol awareness?
Yes.
Okay. And they understand that they must abide by our rules and regulations, that there will be periodic inspections, that if they are violated, that we can revoke, suspend their license or fine them. They understand all of that?
예, rules and regulation에서 말하고 있는 거는 어떤 violation, 위반 사항이 있을 때 라이센스 있다라는 문제를 하고 있는데 그 위반 사항이 있으면 뺏길 수 있다라는 거를 이해하십니까?
Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Thomas is the resident on this only? She's not working on it? Are you there, Ms. Thomas?
Miss Thomas, yeah, you've unmuted yourself.
Sorry, I didn't realize that. Yes,
So you're not going to be involved. You're just the resident on the license?
correct.
Okay. Okay. This place has no record of violations. So let's hope it continues. Do the commissioners have any questions for the applicant?
I have no questions.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. Ms. Chang, can you ask the applicants, it appears from the application that they reside in Fairfax and Manassas, Virginia. And how do they plan on managing this operation from such a distance?
Sure. 너무 멀다고 합니다. 주소들이 지금 버지니아로 돼 있는데 어떻게 이 가게를 매니지를 하실까요? 어떻게 뭐 지금
출퇴근은
출퇴근하시거나
하죠.
아니면 거기 가실
거의-
이사하실 의향은 없으시고.
출퇴근은
예.
하는 거죠.
Right now they are commuting long ways. Yeah, and then maybe they are thinking about, that they're thinking about moving to the closer, but not at this point. But they
So,
are
Ms. Chang-
commuting long ways.
Yeah, so that is actually my concern. My concern is that they are commuting a long way to manage this establishment, but they seem to have been doing it since December, and I guess it sounds like they may have some thoughts of relocating. I guess it's important for them to understand that they are still responsible in light of that long commute. Who else is, how many employees will they have?
지금 컨선을 가지고 있는 게 너무 멀어서 왔다 갔다 해서 이게 문에 의해서 잘 되지 않을까 걱정을 하고 있는데 또 다른 사람이
예, 한 명 있습니다.
지금 그 사람이 있다. 그러면 그 사람은 어디 살고 어떤
예.
그러면 어떻게 해야 되나?
지금 저희들 가는 게 문제 없습니다. 예.
I explained and then I asked him, but he made himself clear that there's no problem in commuting.
Well, perhaps there isn't for him, but I have a concern that I want to make sure that those that are own this license are actually there and present on a regular and frequent basis. I didn't hear whether they have previous experience in this industry. Do they?
In as provided in the application, this is their first liquor store business.
So will they be will they and their employees be tip certified?
Certified, alcohol awareness certified 됐나요? 물었는데 됐다고.
네.
Yes.
Okay. And they have no other experience, but they've been managing this since December. Is that correct?
지금 그 이외에 리커 라이센스 경험은 없으시죠?
네.
사실대로. Correct.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the responses, Ms. Chang, and I would say that that we have inspectors that can assist and staff that can assist should they have any questions, assuming we approve this license. But I do have some reservations given the distance and kind of their lack of experience. And I'll sort of leave it. I'll leave it at that, though.
Yes, but understood, and I will make sure about that. 지금 이 커미셔너는 그 약간 주저함이 있습니다. 왜냐면 경험이 없고 그리고 너무 롱 디스턴스라서. 그렇지만 인스펙터가 여러 가지 정보를 다 줄 수가 있으니까 리커 도움이랑 같이 리커 보드랑 같이 일해 주십사 얘기를 하고 있네요. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Blendy, do we have public comment on this?
If there are any members of the public who wish to testify on this matter, please use the raise your hand feature in the application for WebEx. Mr. Chairman, I do not see any members of the public who wish to testify.
All right, thank you. Okay, Ms. Chang, if you will convey to your clients that we're going to rule on this. I see they've made a significant investment in this business, but they are inexperienced. And as Commissioner Greenfield points out, they're doing this from some distance. And it's going to require a great deal of attention on their part not to run afoul of our rules or regulations or to run into problems in that Federal Hill community. And I would recommend that they get involved with the community associations so that they're not having problems with the community. But other than that, based on the materials contained in the application and the testimony received, I would vote to approve the application to transfer this Class A beer, wine, and liquor license.
Thank you so much. I will make sure about that. Thank you.
Commissioner Guy, upon a review of the evidence and the testimony that was presented here this morning before the board, I would also vote to approve the application before the board for the application of transfer of ownership.
Thank you.
Based upon the applications and the testimony, I too would approve the application to transfer ownership, and again, underscore the importance that the applicants, as the chairman pointed out, work closely with the community. And if they have any questions or concerns, they should reach out to the agency, because we do not, Ms. Chang, want to see them on another docket involved with violations.
Yes, thank you so much. I will make sure about it.
No
Thank
exhibits for the record.
Please, Ms. Russell.
Thank you. Did you say, Ms. Russell, did you say no exhibits?
Yes, no exhibits.
Thank you, applicants. You will receive follow-up instructions via mail, and this business is concluded before the board today.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Let's go to
Mr. Chairman, the next matter before the board today is item number 2, Sujan Subedi, Sudarshan Subedi, and MD Masarul Islam, 4801 Eastern Avenue Corporation, trading as O'Connor's. They hold a BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and this is an application to transfer ownership. And these applicants, I believe, are represented by Mr. Fogelman, who is now in the room.
Okay, Ms. Fogelman, will you identify yourself for the record, please?
Yes, good morning. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the applicants.
So who is with you, Mr. Fogelman?
Thank you. On the left of the screen is Sujan Subedi, and next to him is Sudarshan Subedi, the ownership interest members of the LLC.
And are you going to proffer for them?
I will. This is pretty straightforward stuff. O'Connor's Liquors is a well-known and busy tavern with carryout in Greektown, right on Eastern Avenue. It's been there forever, and the Subedis have purchased the ownership interest from the current licensee. They have considerable retail experience, but no prior alcohol management experience. The only exhibit I have put into the file for this matter is their certificates recognizing successful completion of an alcohol management course. They've told me that anyone who appears to be under 35 will be asked for ID, and that there will be no tolerance to any deviation from that policy. Any deviation from that policy will result in termination. There are two guys in their 30s who are pretty serious about this business, and any questions you may have for them, they'd be happy to field.
First of all, I comment that O'Connor's is an odd name for a Greek place, but I hope it does well there. So this tavern, are they going to be employing others there as well?
Indeed, and they will see to it that those employees are alcohol management certified additionally.
And do they have they had any communication with that Greektown community?
I'm not aware if they have or have not. I do know that the former owner, was pretty plugged into the community. So I will encourage them to start attending Greater Greektown meetings.
Okay.
Also, just so you know, Sujan, he has been apprenticing with a friend of his who owns an extremely busy liquor store known as Southwest Discount Liquors on Washington Boulevard. For the past several weeks, he's been shadowing him in his store and working with customers and seeing the best practices that Mr. Villa at Southwest is using.
Okay, good, because this institution, under its prior licensees, did have some violations back in 2016 and before that. So we want to make sure that they don't run into those problems. Okay, let me see if the other commissioners have questions.
I have no questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I have no questions.
All right, do we have public testimony, Mr. Blendy?
If there are any members of the public who wish to testify on this matter, please use the raise your hand feature in the WebEx platform. Mr. Chairman, I see no members of the public who wish to testify.
All right, thanks. And on the basis of the materials contained in the application and the proffers from Counsel Mr. Fogelman about the licensees and their intents and their qualifications, I'd vote to approve the application to transfer this BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license.
Commissioner Guy, upon the review of the evidence and also the testimony that was given this morning to the board, I would also vote to approve the application for transfer of ownership.
Based upon the applications and the proffers from Mr. Fogelman, I too would approve the transfer of ownership. Good luck.
Thank you.
No exhibits for the record. I'm sorry, there is an exhibit. Exhibit number 1, alcohol awareness certification, 2 in total. My apologies.
Thank you, Ms. Russell.
That concludes the matter of this transfer. Applicants will receive communication with further
You want me
instructions
to
in the
hang out
mail.
for a minute? This isn't going to take long. Now you see how long it takes. Sure.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, the next item before you is also represented by Mr. Fogelman. It is Alvin D. White III and Peter Thomas, Bar One Baltimore LLC, trading as Bar One Baltimore, 1000 Lancaster Street, 21218. It is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, and this is an application for a new restaurant license requesting live entertainment and outdoor table service as well. And give me 1 second, and I will move the applicants into the panel. Mr. Fogelman, is it just Mr. White and Mr. Thomas?
Yes, I have Mr. White here in Baltimore, and Mr. Thomas is joining us from Miami.
Okay, all members are in the panel.
Thank you. Ms. Fogelman, you identify yourself for the record, please?
Yes, thank you very much. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the applicants.
And let's swear Mr. White and Mr. Thomas, please.
Okay, Mr. White, would you be able to turn on your video?
I've got him on mine, but I don't know if you can
Okay.
see him while I'm not talking.
Oh, okay. I guess it's just, must be really small in there. No worries. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury? And please state your name before your response.
Alvin Dan White III. I do.
Okay. And
Do we
Mr.
have
Thomas?
Mr. Thomas?
Mr. Thomas there?
Mr. Thomas does not appear to be on mute, so I do not know.
Oh.
He appears to be
Oh, there
unmuted.
he is. Okay. Would you be able to say your response, Mr. Thomas?
Peter Thomas, I do swear.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Fogelman, this is a new restaurant. You've submitted exhibits, including the breakdown of the investment.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
As well as a menu, photos. So, want to tell us about it?
Yeah, $2.28 million in tenant improvements for 1000 Lancaster Street. Mr. Thomas is a wonderful chef. He grew up in Jamaica. His grandmother forced him to learn how to cook when he was a very young child. He left Jamaica for the United States at age 13 and has been involved in the industry almost ever since. He's been an owner of restaurants for 25 years this year, and he's probably hired, he thinks, maybe over 1,000 servers throughout his tenure with Bar One in Atlanta, Sports One in Charlotte, North Carolina, and his Bar One concept in Miami. It will be the concept here in Baltimore will be very much the same as his Miami locations, photographs of which have been introduced into evidence. It's an upscale urban eatery with an island coastal menu. Your Honor, you know as well as anyone that the practice of law is often very local pursuit. So it was very exciting to be able to visit Mr. Thomas's restaurant in Miami Beach when I happened to be in Florida about 6 weeks ago. So my vacation pictures have now been elevated to exhibits in this very hearing. I was particularly impressed with Mr. Thomas's COVID-19 protocols. One of the photos in evidence is a photo of me going through a temperature check, which also grabbed my IP address for contact tracing purposes. It was, I've not seen anything like it in Baltimore, and I was particularly impressed by that. You see the menu. I think there was the best plantains I ever had in my life when I was down there. I mean, he can take anything that's even mundane and elevate it to fantastic cuisine. So as far as alcohol management policies, Mr. Thomas, having hired hundreds, if not 1,000 servers over the years, has been very strict with a policy of carding anyone who appears to be under 30. He is proud to say in 25 years as a restaurant owner, he has never been cited for any violations in North Carolina, the state of Florida, or the state of Georgia. And so he will bring that excellent management here. Sorry about that. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, my phone fell over. So in that regard, if Mr. Thomas would like to speak about that, and I think one of the questions that Commissioner Greenfield had a moment ago about distance and proximity to the restaurant can be easily answered by Mr. White, who is the city resident in this matter. And he's really more than just a city resident. He's the eyes and ears of the establishment's owner in the absence of Mr. Thomas, and does live here in the city and will be able to be on site if there are any issues. All of that having been said, Mr. Thomas, having run restaurants in various states, he can't be in all places at all times. And so what that means is you have to hire a trustworthy and excellent management staff, all of whom will be alcohol management certified.
And has he done that yet, or is that something to be done in the future?
No, I'm getting an appointment for both of these gentlemen this afternoon.
And is this place, is it ready to open, or what is the status?
No, it's going to require, and I may ask the applicants to get into more detail, but I think they've got a couple of months of prep ahead.
So in the summer prior?
We have at least three months. Excuse me?
Mr.
Could you guys hear?
Are you expecting to open this summer?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And how many people will be, what's the capacity for seating?
It's around 225.
25. Okay. All right. Did you want to add anything, Mr. Thomas, before I ask the commissioners?
No, I'm blown away by Mr. Fogelman's presentation of my.
Okay. Well, I think we're
Yeah.
about the Miami facility, but that's okay. That looks good. Do you have questions?
Mr. Thomas, Mr. Thomas, you look familiar. Have we seen you before?
I don't know if you've seen me before, but I was on a show on Bravo for at least 9 seasons.
That's where you look quite familiar. I won't admit to it, but I think I watched that show, and you were quite entertaining. So
Well,
I
well,
appreciate.
I won't do anything to disturb anyone.
No, and I'm glad to see you doing quite well, given what I
Thank you.
remember the plot of the story, or the reality was, I should say. So
Yes.
how often will you be coming to Baltimore?
I'll be in Baltimore at least at least 2 weeks out of every month.
Great. Well, thank you for your investment, and thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Guy, do you have questions?
Commissioner Guy, no, I have no questions other than to state the fact that I looked at the pictures. I was very impressed about the way everything was set up and the menu. So I'm kind of looking forward to visiting the place once it's open.
Okay. Do we have public comment, Mr. Blendy?
If there are any members of the public who wish to testify on this matter, please use the raise your hand feature on the WebEx platform right now. Mr. Chairman, I see no members of the public who wish to testify.
Right, thank you. Mr. Fogelman, then on the basis of the materials contained in the application, your proffers, and the testimony received, as well as the exhibits, I would vote to approve this application for a new restaurant license requesting live entertainment and outdoor table service.
Commissioner Guy, upon a review of the testimony and proffer presented before the board this morning, I would also vote to approve the application for a new restaurant license requesting live entertainment and outdoor table service.
Based upon the application, the proffers, the testimony, the investment and the seating thresholds being met, I too would approve the new restaurant license with live entertainment and outdoor table service.
Exhibits for the record, applicant exhibit 1, menu, exhibit number 2, budget details, and exhibit number 3, 7 photos.
Thank you, Russell.
This concludes this matter before the board. Applicants will receive notification of the board's decision and further instructions via mail. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The next matter on the docket, I believe, is Mr. Kadensky's client. So let me unmute him and see. I think he was having issues before.
I'm here. I've had issues my whole life.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Kadensky, this is Nadine Tarby Richards, Denzel Richards, and Ronald Dare. Are they with you?
They're both here, and you might find this hard to believe, but they're from Jamaica also.
Yeah. Well then let me formally call the case then, sir.
Okay.
Commissioners, the next item on the docket is Nadine Tarby Richards, Denzel Richards, and Ronald Dare, Tarby Richards Incorporated, trading as Denzel Shark Bar Grill at 801 South Broadway 21231. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, and the matter before you is an application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service, requesting off-premise catering.
Okay, and who's with you, Mr. Kadensky?
Both the applicants, not the city residents, not here, because he's not going to be participating, but he is related to both Miss Richards and Miss Nadine Tarby Richards and Denzel Richards.
Okay, so are they going to be testifying?
I can proffer for you. I mean, this is not simple, not that anything's simple in life anymore, but if you may or may not, or all you may, this is the old Jimmy's location on Broadway in Fells Point. And they bought both the property and the restaurant for over $1 million. Mr. Richards has had probably 31 years of experience in the restaurant business. He and his wife are going to operate it. They'll probably have approximately 12 people as employees hired from the neighborhood if possible. The ones that will be serving alcohol will be alcohol certified. Both of them have been certified, have alcohol awareness. And it was a little bit ironic because the person who did the alcohol awareness was Jimmy Filipidis, who ran Jimmy's there. And they've talked with most of the people in the neighborhood, have consulted with Ron Furman, who owns Max's, which is right next to him, who's probably been there 40 years. and he actually bought the old Acropolis and made it Max's. So they're familiarizing themselves. They live approximately 20 minutes away, so they are in close proximity to the restaurant. They will be open, serving breakfast again early, starting around 6 o'clock. They're going to eventually go to around 4 o'clock to start with, and then try to start for a evening dinner menu.
And when are they now, or will they be opening soon?
Well, the place was scheduled for auction. They bought it, they settled. They're in the process of getting their UNOs and all that done, which will start next week. I would say maybe within 30 days they plan on being open. Probably be nice because it'll be springtime.
Let's hope.
Well, there's always hope.
Yes. Commissioners, do you have questions?
I have no questions.
No questions.
Do we have public testimony, Mr. Bundy?
If there are any members of the public who wish to testify on this matter, please use the raise your hand feature in the WebEx platform. Mr. Chairman, I see no members of the public who wish to testify.
All right, Mr. Kadensky, then, on the basis of the materials contained in the application and your extensive proffer, I would vote to approve this application to transfer this Class B beer, wine, and liquor license with continuation of outdoor table service and off-premise catering.
Commissioner Guy, based upon the testimony presented and the proffer that was offered before the board this morning, I would also vote to approve the application before the board to transfer of ownership with continuation of outdoor table service, requesting off-premises catering.
Based upon the application and the proffers from Mr. Kadensky, I too would approve the transfer of ownership with continuation of outdoor table service and off-premise catering.
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you very much.
This concludes this matter before the board. Applicants will receive notice of the board's decision and further instructions via mail. Mr. Chairman, the next matter before you, I believe, is also Mr. Kadensky's clients. And Mr. Kadensky, who needs to be brought in, if anyone? Or are they all with you?
Well, the two that are here with Mr. Justin Hunt and Mr. Lamont Macy. This Brooke Stanley will not be participating. I will be able to proffer as to what the arrangement is with her.
Okay, then everyone is in the room. I will call the case. Commissioners, this applicant is Justin Raymond Carlton Hunt, Brooke Stanley, and Lamont Macy. Dream at Legacy Bar and Bistro LLC, trading as Dream at Legacy Bar and Bistro, 10 South Calvert Street, 21201. This is an application to transfer ownership from a secured creditor with continuation of live entertainment of a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license.
All right, thank you. Mr. Kadensky, you want to identify yourself for the record, please?
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky, 320 North Charles Street, representing the applicants.
Will they be testifying, Mr. Kadensky?
As you remember, we started this about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and I think you qualified them. They were going to operate this establishment on Calvert Street with a restaurant with continuing live entertainment. There was a question with Ms. Stanley as to her participation. She has arrived at an agreement with them, and I've talked to their attorney, Mr. Jacob Rappaport, and also Mr. Alan Rabanal. The theory is to go ahead at this point to get all three of them approved, and eventually, in the next 2 or 3 months, the two gentlemen here will be buying out her interest. But for the present time, they're going to proceed with the same application.
Okay. And you want to tell us a little bit about their plans?
Well, their plan is to operate it. It's down there on Redwood and Calvert Street. They're going to have live entertainment there. They're going to have a full menu, have operation. The entertainment will be in the evening. They've met with the downtown partnership people, also talked to their neighbors in the area. And so they'll have security there as necessary. And everybody thinks they will be a fine addition to the area. They breathe some more life into that area there. Of course, across the street is supposed to be Shakespeare. I don't know whether he's in a little bit of controversy right now, I think. But I don't know if he would come over.
Okay. In the past, this establishment has had difficulties with food receipts. Are they aware of that difficulty? And
That they are, and the food requirement as listed on the license, they understand and they have to meet the food requirement to be a full restaurant.
okay, and people who are handling alcohol are going to be certified?
They'll all be certified, and the two individuals will be certified, so they'll have everybody, and they've had experience probably working at that establishment in the past, so they know the area, they know what to expect. I know they're going to make reach out and meet with the local police that are in the area. They have security cameras and so forth.
Now that we have Mr. Akris at the Downtown Partnership, they better be on their toes.
I think he's going to have a lifetime membership there.
Okay, do commissioners have questions?
I have no questions.
No questions.
All right, we have public testimony, Mr. Blendy.
If any member of the public wishes to testify on this matter, please use the raise your hand feature on the WebEx platform. Mr. Chairman, I do not see any members of the public who wish to testify.
Thank you. On the basis then, Mr. Kadensky, of the materials contained in the application and your proffer with respect to all of these matters, I would vote to approve the application to transfer this Class B license from a secured creditor with continuation of live entertainment.
Based upon the proffer of Mr. Kandinsky and also the evidence presented before the board this morning, I would also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership from a secured creditor with continuation of live entertainment.
I too would join my colleagues and, based on the application and the proffers from Mr. Kadensky, approve the transfer of ownership from a secured creditor with the continuation of live entertainment.
No exhibits for the record.
That concludes this matter before the board. Applicants will receive notification of the board's decision and further instructions in the mail.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Kadensky, is the next one yours?
Yes, it is. I have the rest of the docket, I think.
Okay. Then commissioners, the next item before you this morning is applicant R. Scott Panian, Jody Panian Baker, and Brenda K. Ledley, Amici's Incorporated, trading as Amici's, 231 South High Street, 21202. This is an application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment and outdoor table service, requesting off-premise catering, a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license.
You want to identify?
Melvin J. Kadansky, 320 North Charles Street for the applicant.
Are you going to proffer or are they going to testify?
I'm going to proffer because Mr. Panian's been on that license there for probably 20, 25 years, and he's just taking the interest of the other party out along with them, the other individuals here who've been running the place.
Okay, and are there going to be any changes to the operation?
No changes to the operation. Mr. Panian is going to be 100% owner. He's had discussions with the neighborhood. It's a very fine restaurant. It's down there. He has had discussions next door, to be honest with you, with Miss Gia Blatterman, and she had some concerns about the live entertainment that's on the license already. And she was concerned, and he has read and made an arrangement with her, and we'll put it on the record, that there would be no entertainment after 11 o'clock p.m. And if you want, I'll have Mr. Panian confirm that.
That's fine. I'll take your word for it. Okay, and all the people who are handling alcohol will be certified?
They are, and the ones that are in there, most of them are certified already.
All right, Commissioner, question? Do the commissioners have any questions?
Oh, sorry, couldn't hear you.
I have no question.
No, I applaud Mr. Panian. It appears that he's had a very good record, so I have no questions.
And do we have public comment, Mr. Blendy?
If any member of the public wishes to testify on this matter before the board, please use the raise your hand feature in the WebEx platform. Mr. Chairman, I see no members of the public who wish to testify.
Mr. On the basis of the materials contained in the application and your proffer and the long-standing record that Mr. Penian has with this the application to transfer ownership of this Class B license with continued live entertainment, table service, and off-premise catering.
Based upon the proffer of Mr. Kudinski and a review of the evidence, I would also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership with the continuation of live entertainment and outdoor table service and off-premises catering.
Based upon the applications, the proffers from Mr. Kudinski, I too would approve the transfer of ownership with continuation of live entertainment, not after 11 p.m., and outdoor table service and off-premise catering.
No exhibits for the record.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Applicants will receive notification of the board's decision and further instructions via mail.
Okay. And this is the reporter. Who was with Mr. Kudinski there? I've got Mr. Penian, and then I didn't get the other person.
I missed what you said.
Oh, sorry. I had that Mr. Penian was with you for the last one, but who else was with you in the room?
The other, Jody Penian Baker.
Okay, thank you.
Not yet. I got.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right.
Okay. The next matter before the board today is Douglas Lancaster Atwell, New Make Hay LLC, trading as trade name pending, 529 South Bond Street, 21231. And this is an amended application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment, a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Is Mr. Kudinski, is Mr. Atwell with you?
He said he was going to be joining in via computer.
I see him here, but it will not allow me to make him a panelist for.
Well, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, I see your hand, Mr. Atwell.
I could probably make this fairly simple if the board will let me.
Do you want to identify yourself for the record, Mr. Kudinski?
For the record, Melvin J. Kudinski representing Mr. Atwell. Mr. Atwell was previously approved by this board, he was in the process of completely renovating that property on Bond Street and Fleet Street. And due to the fact he had to make some changes, his original LLC was Make Hay LLC. Now it's New Make Hay LLC. So it's an amended application. In all other respects, it was it's the same as when he was approved previously.
That was back in 2018, right?
Well, I think it was after that. Yeah, and then it was 19, and there were some hardships. Then he's got it extended for a transfer to this current LLC.
And this is going to be a restaurant tavern with live entertainment?
That's correct, and he has had previous experience and was approved previously by the board for that same operation. Some of the, I guess, would you say, relatives of the Padarakis family owned the building, and he's going to be renting there.
And when will he be open?
I think he was telling me that he may, within maybe 90 days or so, depending on the weather.
Okay.
He needed quite a build out to clean the place up. That's probably the best way I could say it.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No question.
No questions.
We have public comment.
If any member of the public wishes to testify on this matter, please use the raise your hand feature on this WebEx platform. Mr. Chairman, I will note for the record that Mr. Atwell is in the room and has attempted to be available to testify, but technological reasons will not allow me to make him a panelist. So he is here for the record.
Appreciate that. It's not. I don't think it's necessary on the basis of the materials contained in this amended application. Considering that the board heard this application originally back in October 2000, approved it, and large and extensive result the pandemic and the need for this build out, I don't think much has changed. So I would, on the basis of the materials contained in the amended application and the proffer of Mr. Kadensky, approve the amended application to transfer ownership of this BD7 license with continued live entertainment.
Commissioner Cobb, based upon the proffer of Mr. Kadensky and the evidence presented before the board this morning, I would also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment.
I too, based upon the applications and the proffer from Mr. Kadensky, would approve the amended application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment.
No exhibits for the record.
That concludes this matter before the board today. Applicant will receive notice of the board's decision and further instructions in the mail. Mr. Chairman, commissioners, the next matter before you is applicant Dax Dana Brooks and Valerie Elaine Farr, Bertha's Soul Food Bar and Grill, LLC, trading as Bertha's Soul Food Bar and Grill, 4201 Blair Road, aka 4200 Parkside Drive, 21206. And this is an application for a new restaurant license requesting outdoor table service and delivery of alcoholic beverages, a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. Mr. Kadensky, are all the anyone testifying with you in the room?
Right here.
Okay.
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky representing the applicants in this case.
And who is there, Mr. Kadensky?
The two applicants.
Brooks and Farr?
Yeah. I got Dax and Valerie here. She's the one who has the Betty Boop hat on.
Okay.
Don't see that often.
All right, Madam Reporter.
Would you be able to raise your right hand, please? Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Kadensky, I note for the record that we've received a letter from Rita Cruz, President of the Bel Air Edison Community Association, in support of the application.
That's correct. If the board may or may not see in their records, this place had a Class B license several years ago. However, the parties that were in there let the license lapse, as a result of which the applicants here have taken over the space. In fact, they've been there for about a year. May will be a year operating as a restaurant. They've proved themselves to the neighborhood, hence they received that letter of approval and recommendation. They have a full menu. The place seats 76 or so persons. They'll provide to the board proof of the capital investment of $200,000 as necessary for the new license before they pick it up. They're in the process now of getting the appraisal and knowing the property that's there. They've been operating without incident at the area, and you may find it a little unusual, but it's on the corner of Blair Road and Parkside. Across the street is the park that's there. So it's a very neighborhood, and they've done very well. And Valerie is here. I don't know that she'll be doing too much there other than being the licensee. The other licensee, Mr. Brooks, actually runs the place.
And what's the capacity?
I think it's 76.
And will the Mr. Brooks and the people who handle alcohol be certified?
They'll be alcohol certified. Anybody that's dispensing alcohol will be certified.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Public testimony?
Commissioner, we do need to certify that they have made their minimum investment for in order to be eligible for this license.
Yeah, we will provide that, before they even come down to pick the license up and by way of appraisal and equipment list. They understand.
Can you, Mr. Kadinsky, can you tell us how much they've actually invested to date?
How much is it? How much? It's a little over 200,000 as of this date, and they have to acquire some new equipment.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
If any member of the public wishes to testify on this matter, please use the raise your hand feature in the WebEx platform. Mr. Chairman, I do not see any member of the public who wishes to testify.
The,
Thanks. All right, Mr. Kadinsky, on the basis then of the materials contained in the application, your proffer the letter of support from the Bel Air Edison Community Association, contingent upon them providing proof of the required investment and seating capacity, I would vote to approve the application for a new restaurant license with outdoor table service delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Based upon the proffer of Mr. Kaczynski and the evidence presented before the board this morning, I would also vote to approve the application for new restaurant license requesting outdoor table service and delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Based upon the application and the proffer from Mr. Kadinsky, I too would approve the new restaurant license with outdoor table service and delivery of alcoholic beverages.
I call exhibits for the record. Exhibit number 1, letter of support from Bel Air Edison Community Association in support.
That concludes this matter before the board. Applicants will receive notice of the board's decision and further instructions in the mail.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, the next matter before you is applicant Mia L. Conaway and Dwaru A. Bullock Jr. General Partnership, trading as trade name pending, 2343 East Monument Street, 21205. And this is an application to transfer ownership requesting delivery of alcoholic beverages of a BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license.
For the record, Melvin J. Kadinsky representing the applicants who are here with me.
Okay, do you want a proffer for them, Mr. Kadinsky?
I would. This is a transfer of an existing BD7 on Monument Street. There was a estate that was there previously, and they knew the people that were there, and some of them were related, and they decided it's a partnership. They bought the building, so they own the building. They have an investment in the community. They're going to operate it as a BD7. They are asking for delivery of alcohol. They'll both be alcohol certified. They'll have their employees, if possible, the ones that are dispensing alcohol, be certified. They are sensitive to the community and will meet with the various community leaders as necessary to operate the place. It's not a very large place on Monument Street. I do note, however, for the board, is that there's a pending violation for the prior owner that will have to be dispensed with maybe the next time you have violation hearings. I don't have authority yet to represent those individuals, but I expect to get it and see what it is.
Okay, I mean, they had a record. Last thing that we had, I thought, was back in 2017, but there's a pending violation.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I believe it's on the next violations docket that you will be hearing.
Do you know what the nature of it is?
My recollection was that it was open beyond the out. This is in the area that requires a 10 p.m. closing by state law, and my recollection was that they were serving after 10 p.m.
Okay. All right. So the new owners are going to be very much cognizant of our rules and regulations, and
Yes, they are, and they will be paying attention to the hearing. Is it next week, Nick, the 4th?
Yes, no, it is the subsequent one to that, the 11th.
I'll make sure
I'm sorry, the 18th. The 18th is the next violation. The 11th, the board is in recess.
Okay, I'll have them pay attention to that, and then also get a copy of the violations so they can take a look at it.
Okay, thank you. Do the commissioners have questions?
I have no questions.
No questions.
Is there public testimony, Mr. Bundy?
If any member of the public wishes to testify on this matter before the board, please use the raise your hand feature in the WebEx platform. Mr. Chairman, I do not see any member of the public who wishes to testify.
Okay, thank you then. Mr. Kudensky, on the basis of the materials contained in the application and your proffer, I would vote to approve the transfer of the BD7 license requesting delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Based upon the proffer of Mr. Gadinsky and the evidence presented before the board this morning, I would also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership requesting delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Based upon the application and the proffer from Mr. Kudensky, I too would approve the transfer of ownership with delivery of alcoholic beverages.
No exhibits for the record.
That concludes this matter before the board. Applicants will receive notification of the board's decision and further instructions in the mail.
All right, thank you.
Just one moment so I can move the next applicant into the room. The next matter before the board, Mr. Chairman and members, is Taisha Ruffin, Cork and Kegs LLC, trading as Cork and Kegs.
Thank you.
3820 East Pratt Street, 21224. And this is an application to transfer ownership from a contract purchaser of a Class D beer and wine license. Mr. Kudensky, are you counsel?
Yes, I am. For the record, Melvin J. Kudensky representing Taisha Ruffin. She should be on. She said she was going to join us.
She should be in the room.
No.
I see her. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now with me that one. All right.
Madam Reporter, will you swear Ms. Ruffin, please?
Please raise your right hand. Ms. Ruffin?
Yes.
Please raise your right hand. Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay,
For the record, Melvin J. Kudensky representing the applicant. This is application and transfer, it's a beer and wine license. It's not a beer and wine liquor license. It's a small place up in Hollandtown. Used to be called Schaefer's years ago. Ms. Ruffin will operate it. She has met with the Hollandtown Community Association. Unfortunately, there was a letter, a MOU that was sent out, but she only, in all fairness to everybody, she only got it last night. But I think in most of the items in the MOU she agrees to, they just need a final version of the days of operation and the hours. She plans on operating pursuant to the times allowed in the beer and wine license in the same amount, and that all her persons who are operating will be alcohol certified as well as herself, and that she will become an active participant in the Hollandtown Community Association. Would that be correct, Ms. Ruffin?
Yes, that's correct.
And does she have experience, Ms. Ruffin, do you have experience in the liquor business?
Yes.
Well, tell the board what kind of experience you have.
I have experience. I'm a real estate broker, and I've been for a little over 20 years. I do have a few associates that own bars, and I've bartended there and just kind of helped out with their, accounting, record keeping, and so forth over the years.
Okay. You are certified, or you're going to be certified?
I will be certified.
If you do negotiate a memorandum of understanding with the Hollandtown Community Association, are you agreed that the terms will be part of your license?
Yes, I did go ahead and get that signed and sent back to them. They just sent it out yesterday evening. I agreed to everything that they requested, and some additional things that I'd already had in place is something, some of the things that I normally do. And I'm kind of used to dealing with that with BMZA, just putting, security in place and some other things in place for the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. Do the commissioners have questions?
No questions.
Ms. Ruffin, this establishment has a history of sales to minors, and that's obviously something the board takes very seriously. What precautions are you going to put in place to make sure that that doesn't occur?
I will be requiring ID for anyone that looks over 35 years old.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And, you know, if you need anything from the agency, let us know. But that's obviously an issue on this, at this establishment, and would like to not see you in a violation hearing.
Yeah, I also informed them that the community that I will be hiring security, you know, in any events or any large crowd. So I'll have that in place as well.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Ruffin. I very much appreciate that.
Okay. Do we have any public testimony, Mr. Bundy?
The Chief Chrysomalis has raised his hand.
All right.
I just had a quick question for the applicant. That area there in the past, we've had some incidences outside. Are you going to be having a security camera that's going to be recording at all times on the premises, especially outside?
Yes, that's already indicated in the MOU. I will be having security there. On every property that I have security. I have a person that comes out and sets up, and I try to catch every angle, inside and outside.
Great. Thank you,
For
ma'am.
everyone's protection, so definitely.
Thank you.
Anyone else, Mr. Blend?
If any member of the public wishes to testify please, on this matter, please use the raise your hand feature in the WebEx platform.
And one more
Mr.
thing, I'm sorry. I will have those security cameras registered with City Watch as well.
Mr. Chairman, I do not see any additional members of the public who wish to testify on this matter.
All right, thank you. Mr. Kadensky and Ms. Ruffin, on the basis of the materials contained in the application, the proffer from Mr. Kadensky, testimony from Ms. Ruffin, I assume you provide us with a copy of the MOU when you have it all executed, I hope.
Yes, we will.
But of all of that, I would vote to approve the application to transfer this Class D beer license contract purchaser subject to the terms of the memorandum of understanding to the extent they're enforceable by law.
Yes, I understand.
Commissioners?
Based upon the testimony of Ms. Ruffin and the proffer of Mr. Kadensky, I would also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership from the contract purchaser.
Based upon the application, the proffer from Mr. Kadensky, and the testimony of Ms. Ruffin, I too would approve the transfer of ownership from a contract purchaser, attaching the memorandum of understanding subject to the terms of that MOU to the extent it's enforceable by law.
No exhibits for the record.
That concludes this matter before the board. Applicant will receive notice of the board's decision and further instructions via mail. Mr. Chairman, that concludes all matters before the board today. The board will be in recess until Thursday, March 4th, 2021. The board shall post on its website, provide notice to the applicants and/or attorneys, and conduct a virtual hearing on that date.
Thank you, and thank you to everybody who's involved today, and stay safe. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. You do the same.